Guys and girls, welcome back to the channel. I'm at my usual haunt, which is Into Moto in Warrington, and today I have found an absolute beauty to have a go on. Now, Into Moto have a good range of new bikes, and they do have used bikes as well, and today is a used bike that I've never seen before in Into Moto. It's a completely new one on me, so let's have a look round it. Just look at the state on this thing. So this is an AJS R7 125. Now I know what you're thinking, R7 promises much at R7, but then it goes to 125. So yeah, it actually looks like a Yamaha R7 with a 125 engine. What we'll do, we'll have a look around it the usual way. One thing that I'm a bit surprised by is the price, and we'll get to that, but let me take you around it first. I'll throw some specs at you and then I'll tell you why I'm impressed, mainly with the price. Let's start with the full 360 so you can see it from all angles. Now you can see this one is in this, I think, a very nice blue paint scheme, but it has been customized with some Red Bull signage, some Red Bull stickers. Just zoom in to show you that, but I think it does make the bike a bit unique in that it'll be the only one out there that's had this custom job done to it. You can see it's on a 66 plate, which means it's a 2016 bike. Would have been registered in the second half of that year, which makes it 9 years old. But for a 9-year-old bike, it's looking very, very nice, if I do say so myself. Carrying its age really well. One thing I'm really impressed with, because exhausts can usually show signs of age, but this has got a full stainless steel system on it, which means the exhaust is looking pretty good. In fact, I'm not sure. The exhaust at the back's got a GILLYBIKES sticker on, but I'm not convinced. That may well be just a standard exhaust, but it's just another sticker. I don't know. We'll find out when we start it up. At the front, now this is very unlike a lot of other 125s. It has got twin discs at the front with a 2-piston calipers on each disc, so some decent stopping power. At the rear there is a single disc with a single piston caliper. Engine wise, I've already said it's a 125cc bike. Now where the bike, I won't say lets itself down, but it's another one of those bikes that could have 15 horsepower, but it doesn't. It could have 14 horsepower. It doesn't have that either. The horsepower figures on this are 10.1 or 7.5 kilowatts, so it's some way off the maximum allowed, that being 15, but it does have things in its favour. First of all, the weight. The weight on this is 127 kilograms, so if you compare it to something like Honda's CBR 125, that is around 145-ish, I think, so it's a good few kilograms lighter than that bike. So yeah, it's not got the horsepower, but weight matters with this type of bike, so hopefully it does with this one as well. We'll see when we take it for a ride in a bit. 5 gears on this, and you can see it is on its side stand because it doesn't have a center stand like a lot of sports bikes don't. Ruins the looks of them, but it does make chain maintenance a little bit more difficult. You've got to roll the bike forwards and backwards to get all the chain lubed up, but not a massive issue because I've already said it's quite a light bike. Seat on this, now does that look like a little bit of a love heart? Yeah, I think it does, doesn't it? Oh dear. Anyway, seat on this, it is quite a firm seat, but you get that on a lot of bikes of this type. Rear seat, typical sports bike, it's about 2.5 hands in size, not the biggest, but if you're going to take someone on the back, they do have grab handles, and there is some rear pegs. Now the seat height on this is 810 millimeters, so it's not the tallest bike in the world. Now what that means is that me with my 5'8" height and 29-inch inseam, it means I can flat foot both sides. So work that out on your own height yourself and see whether you'd be able to, but for me I can. And when I was talking about comfort, the seat is obviously hard, and normally these bikes, they're not really made for comfort, they're not, but this one's not too bad, you know. The pegs are fairly central, which means when you've got hold of the bars, you're not actually bent over the tank as much as you are on a lot of other sports bikes, which means my back is in a much happier place, because most sports bikes, yeah, you are bent over quite a lot. It's just not on this, so it's what I would call a comfortable sports bike position. That's a good start for me, means I'm in for a fun ride without the pain. Let's talk buttons. So what we've got is just a standard really. You've got your horn, your indicators, there's a high and low beam, and there's a flash button that side. One for the older riders out there, it's me included, and that is, this bike comes with a choke. Now people who've been riding a while will know what a choke is, what a choke does. For you youngsters out there, this is a magic button that helps you start your bike when it's cold. Right hand side, you've got your engine start. There is a light switch on and off, but I would recommend always leaving it in the on position, because you do want to be seen by other road users, and anything that makes you more visible for the cars out there, you've got to do it. So leave them switched on. Engine cut off. Going old school with the screen, you've got your rev counter going from left all the way around to right. There is a digital screen on here as well that, for the size of it, has quite a lot of information. You've got your speedo in the middle, there is a clock, there is a fuel gauge, there is total miles, this having 9,181, but for a bike of this age, that is covering just over 1,000 miles a year, so it's not being used that often. And there is a gear indicator as well. Didn't expect that, but that's a bonus as well. At the start I mentioned the price. Now Moto sell brand new motorcycles, they sell used motorcycles, and when you get a bike under £2,000, I will gravitate towards it. Always beeping. When I see a bike for less than £2,000, it always gets my attention. When I see a sports bike for less than £2,000, well, it's rare. And this one is up for sale for £1,699. So that is really cheap for a bike of this type. I've no doubt that this bike will sell very, very quickly. So if it's a bike that you're interested in, be very quick, because if this is still here within a week, I will be shocked. That's the walk round done. Now's the fun bit. I'm going to take this bike for a ride. I'm going to see what the performance is like. I am going to test it properly. I am going to do a performance test. If you've seen those before, come along for the ride. You'll see, how does this compare to the other bikes out there? How fast is it? How fast can it get to 60? And importantly, can it get to 60? Because 10.1 horsepower is not a lot. So yeah, I need to test it. Join me for the ride. Let's turn it round. Let's see. Turning circle is going to be a very big one. In fact, you can see straight away how, see, I'm trying not to hit the bike next to me. Get that, perfectly done. But you can see the difference with a sports bike compared to something like a scooter. Let's take it on the cobbles. Oh, now I'm liking this. So where I said the seat was quite hard, that you can feel the suspension working and basically taking all of those lumps and bumps away from your backside. So that was actually a really smooth ride on the cobbles. I've just noticed as well, and I think it's a nice little touch, but the rev counter, as the dial goes round, each section lights up. So currently it's got like lights on 0 to 2 is lit up, and then everything else is white, but as it goes up you can see the lights come on. I like that, nice little touch. Probably be pretty cool that actually at night time when it lights up and it's a little bit more obvious. At the minute it's like a dull pink. It's going through gears nicely. See how it picks up speed. Okay, so picking up speed or going up the revs, because I've just kept it in 3rd gear. The noise levels rise, but the speed doesn't pick up as quick as I would expect. Doesn't seem to be the fastest bike, but it is one of those bikes that looks fast when it's not moving, because sports bikes do. I'm gonna have to do some filtering. Now this might be a bit odd for anybody watching outside of the UK that has laws such as not filtering and not allowed to do this kind of stuff. It might feel a little bit weird and a little bit crazy me doing stuff like this, because people always comment, it's unbelievable, you're dangerous riding because you've overtook something. Well, I'm not doing it quickly, and I'm doing it perfectly legally, because you can in the UK. It's just a lot of countries, even around Europe, the filtering laws, well, they're to stop people filtering. I can understand why, because I've seen people filtering at stupid high speeds. Well, that is dangerous, but I tend to do it at slow speeds, like 10-15 mile an hour. So yeah, I'm skipping traffic, but I'm doing it safely. And the good thing is with this bike is it's got a slightly louder noise than normal, so the cars that I'm crawling past can hear me. And of course I've got these LED lights as well, which make the bike a little bit more visible. Let's see, yeah, I mean, it's a slim bike, so I can get through these smaller spaces. Very scooter-like actually with its size, so it's easy to skip through traffic that's not moving. And we'll see what it's like now. Standing start, I'll get it up to speed. We'll get up to 30 mile an hour as quickly as I can. Yeah, I mean, it's not the fastest bike in the world, but I mean, if you've seen in the mirrors, I was able to pull away from the cars, but it's not rapid. It isn't. It's not the fastest sporty 125 I've been on. Now, I have been on slower 125s, yes, I really have. But I have been on 125s that are considerably faster. Another bit of filtering, I can do it because, well, I just can. The UK law for filtering, yes, it is good. Right to the front of the queue. 3rd gear, you get to 6,000 revs and you do get a hell of a lot of vibrations through your backside, through your legs, little bit through the hands, but obviously that's because I'm taking it higher revs. I'm trying to gauge the performance. Just not sure at this point whether it will even make an indicated 60. Oh, I like that. Anyway, I'm on my usual performance test place. This is a national speed limit road in the UK, carries a 60 mile an hour speed limit, so I'm going to try and get to 60 as fast as I possibly can from a standing start, and we'll see how it compares to other 125s that I've done it on. So as soon as there's a break in traffic, I'll give it the beans. My aim is always to get it to 60 mile an hour before the longer left-hand bend further up the road. Not many bikes do it. Tends to be the premium, the more expensive bikes, with a couple of surprises. And if you've watched my previous videos, certainly the naked sports and the sports bikes, I tend to do it a lot on those. So if you've watched the channel a lot, you know what I'm talking about. If you've not, then have a look at a few others and you'll see the difference. Right, there's a bit of gap in traffic. Let's see. Yes, let's go. It does tend to, the rev counter does tend to run out a little bit when it looks like there's loads left. Come on. Right, so there's 50. I've got it absolutely pinned. Seems to have run out. I'm now in top gear, 5th gear. Yeah, lost a little bit of speed there, but we're on a downhill assist. Only slightly, mind, but an assist is an assist. And we're still doing 50, well, 55, 56, 57. I've still got full throttle pinned, 58. 58 might be its max, you know. 57, yeah, we're starting to slow down because we're going uphill. So, yeah, that is disappointing. That's quite a long stretch of road. So if it can't get to 60 mile an hour in that stretch, it's never going to get to 60 mile an hour with a 14 stone gentleman like myself on. A few scooters have not managed to get to 60 mile an hour on that stretch, but as far as gear bikes go, I think there may be 2 that haven't got to 60. Now those 2 are, I think one was like a really cheap Lex Moto. I think it might have even been less than £1,000, you know, and I did it, it must be 2 years ago now, but there was a Lex Moto that did it, and recently, within the last 6 months, there was a Keyway Superlight that didn't manage it. Now, everybody told me in reference to the Keyway, because the Keyway probably, I would say, got to a similar sort of speed to what this did. But everyone was saying with the Keyway, because it was a new bike or a bike with very low miles, that the bikes do actually run in a little bit, so once you've got a few more miles on them, they're capable. Whereas this really hasn't got an excuse because it's got 9,000 miles on the clock, so it's as ran in as it's going to be, and it didn't get to 60. It got to 58, and then we started going uphill and the speed just disappeared, started to go down, and that was with full throttle on. So yeah, not the fastest bike in the world. However, let's just give it some perspective here. This is a bike for £1,699, so it's a cheap motorcycle, and as you will probably spend most of the time riding it around roads like this, because let's face it, this is the type of bike that a new rider, maybe someone who's 17 years old in the UK, would love to have, because it does look the part. You're certainly going to look cool riding around on something like this. However, yeah, just don't take it on any fast roads, because you will get found out there and everyone will see that it's not quite the fastest bike. In fact, you'll be keeping up with Keyway Superlights as long as they're not running, because then you won't be able to keep up with one of those either. Shame. But for riding around town, for riding up to 50 mile an hour, it's alright. I've ridden bikes that have made me feel worse. You know, I do actually like the feeling of riding it. It feels comfortable. It's going through the gears nicely. If it has got an aftermarket exhaust, as can happen, if it's not being tuned for the exhaust, that could be something that's killing the power a little bit, maybe. Or it could just be that it performs like a bike that's got 10.1 horsepower, because that is also there is also potential for that as well. You get what you pay for, but it's cheap. If you want a cheap bike that'll do 50 mile an hour quite easily, then it may well be an option for you. If you're looking for a bike that just looks the part to do a little bit of a commute to work on, there's worse bikes out there. Certainly for the money, yeah, it's alright. The summary really for this bike: it's a great looking bike that costs £1,699. It goes through the gears well. It's comfortable, but you do have a few vibrations on the higher revs. It's fine like now, but on the higher revs you do notice there is a lot of vibration coming through the seat, the arms and the pegs. Get my words out there. It rides nicely. It sounds amazing, to be fair. It's what I would call the sweet spot as far as noise goes. It doesn't sound obscene, but it doesn't sound like a whiny 125 either. So it's kind of in the middle of both, and that for me is what you want in a motorcycle. You want it to be loud enough that you can be heard, because that helps you be seen. So it's good from that point of view. But the overriding thing for me is it's a bike that looks really, really nice, and its price is exceptional. It is. You're not really going to get many sports bikes that come in at a lower price than £1,699, and you're really not. I'll put a link in the description, and fingers crossed, if it's a bike you're after, it's still in there. But as I've said, bikes like this, once they throw a price tag on them and people see how cheap they are, they do go quite quickly. Now the only thing and the only positive is that these types of bikes are always appearing into moto. So if you did happen to just walk in, you might be lucky. You might actually get this, or you might get something very similar to this at a similar price that hasn't even gone on the internet yet, because that's what tends to sell them. As soon as they appear online, somebody will leave a deposit on them, whether they live local, whether they live far away and they want them delivered, whatever. That's how they get sold very, very quickly, because people just gravitate to the cheaper price. They do. Anyway, I'll put a link in the description. If you've enjoyed the video, if you've even found it bearable, and it's just passed a bit of time for you, please do hit the subscribe button. Come back for more videos, because yeah, I try and get a lot of these out. Try and keep up to date with the stock out of Into Moto and whatever brand new models I can get hold of. So yeah, please do come back, and I will catch you on the next one. Laters.